Hello students, my name is Kevin. Welcome back to the practicum video of electric motor and drive subject. In this video, we will discuss about practicum module 3, which is mainly about one-phase and three-phase AC motor. This is the laboratory apparatus that we created for practicum module 3. Take a look at this apparatus. Here, we have several electric components. Start from circuit breaker, a safety component, push button, switch, contactor, and the last component is the black component in here. We have a lot of it. This black component called as terminal. The terminal is used to connect each component with cables. Circuit breaker. We have 3 circuit breaker with different capacity. Do you still remember how to determine the maximum current capacity of a circuit breaker? Yes, we can see from the number after C alphabet. The first one, the circuit breaker with black clever, it shows C0.5, which means the maximum current flows only 0.5 ampere. The second one, C16, which means maximum 16 ampere. Both of the circuit breaker is called as one-phase circuit breaker, because it's only control one live terminal or one line. Meanwhile, look at the circuit breaker. It consists of 3 levers, 1, 2, and 3. And it has to be moved together. It cannot be moved separately. Let's try it. Yeah, you see, I cannot turn on one terminal. It has to be turned on for all 3 terminals. The circuit breaker called as three-phase circuit breaker, because each of these terminal will control one live terminal or one line. For example, this terminal is connected to R line. The middle terminal is connected to S line, and the last terminal is connected to T line or T terminal. The circuit breaker shows C32, which means the maximum current flows is 32 ampere. From all circuit breaker, this circuit breaker with black clever is called as control circuit breaker, because it has the smallest current capacity. Therefore, we will utilize this circuit breaker for control circuit. Later, we will learn how to create push button, switch, and also latching control circuit. Meanwhile, for these 2 circuit breaker are called as load circuit breaker, because we will connect the circuit breaker, because we will connect this circuit breaker with one-phase AC motor. Meanwhile, this circuit breaker with 3-phase AC motor. Here, we also has lamp. Lamp in here to indicate the current is flowing to the apparatus. For example, if I turn this one-phase load circuit breaker, then the lamp will turn on. Meanwhile, if I turn on the 3-phase circuit breaker, this lamp will turn on. Push button. Push button has 4 legs, as shown in this label. Push button has 2 legs for normally open circuit and has 2 legs for normally closed circuit. As shown in this label, leg number 1 and leg number 2 is normally open. Meanwhile, leg number 3 and number 4 is normally closed. Let's try with buzzer. First, leg number 1 and number 2. If we try this with buzzer, the buzzer will not sound. But if I press this button, the buzzer sound, because normally open is changed to normally closed. Let's try leg number 3 and number 4. Leg number 3 and number 4 is normally closed. That's why if we test it by buzzer, the buzzer will sound. But if I press this button, the buzzer will not sound, because normally closed circuit is changed to normally open. Switch. This is single pole double throw switch or SPDT switch. It's different from the previous SPST switch that we use in module 2. In here, the lever of the switch can stay still in the middle. Look, this is middle, left, middle, and right. Lever in the middle position means off condition. Meanwhile, in the SPST switch, we only has 2 positions, left or right. If you don't remember, please review the practicum module 2. Let's try with the buzzer to understand the working principle of SPDT switch. It's quite similar with SPST switch. We always use the middle leg. Of the switch. Let's try leg 1 and leg 2. Leg 1 and leg 2. Middle position means off condition. Change the lever to the right. It sound, the buzzer sound, which means if the lever is in right position, then leg 1 and leg 2 are connected. We try to the left position, and yeah, the buzzer doesn't sound. We change and we try leg number 2 and leg number 3. We start from the middle, means off position, and we try to the right, the buzzer doesn't sound, and we change the lever to the left. The buzzer sound, which means if the lever is in the left position, then leg number 2 and leg number 3 are connected. Contactor. The contactor consists of 4 switch and coil. 3 switch for high current circuit or load, and 1 switch for low current circuit or control. Take a look over here. You can see terminal 1, terminal 2, terminal 3, terminal 4, terminal 5, and terminal 6. These terminals are used for high current circuit or load. Meanwhile, terminal 13 and 14 are used for low current circuit or control. The normal condition of this switch is normally open. But if coil is energized, then all switches are changed to normally closed condition. Terminal 1 and terminal 2 is connected, terminal 3 and terminal 4 is connected, terminal 5, terminal 6, and terminal 13 and also terminal 14 are connected. Let's try it. If coil is energized, then the black component in here is going down. Like this. Let's try it with multimeter buzzer. Terminal 1 and terminal 2. Yeah, you can hear that. If I push the black component down, the buzzer sound, which means terminal 1 and terminal 2 is connected. Let's try terminal 3 and terminal 4. Yeah, it's the same. If I push the black component in here down, the buzzer sound, which means terminal 3 and terminal 4 is connected. But how if I want to try terminal 4 to terminal 5? It's not the same line. I mean, the terminal 5 should be connected with terminal 6. But I want to try whether terminal 4 and terminal 5 is connected or not. Let's try it. I push the black component down. You don't hear anything, right? Yeah, because it's not the same line. Terminal 5 should be connected with terminal 6. Let's try. Yeah. If it is the same line, then it's connected. The same with terminal 13 and terminal 14. The buzzer sound, which means it's connected. Before we start the experiment, I want to show you the one-phase and three-phase AC motor. This is one-phase AC motor, and this one is three-phase AC motor. Based on appearance, how to differentiate one-phase and three-phase AC motor? First, look at the size. If both motors have the same power, then three-phase AC motor must be smaller than one-phase AC motor. Both of these motors have an output power of 0.5 horsepower. That's why you can see here, three-phase AC motor has smaller size than the one-phase AC motor. Second, look at this. What is this? Let me open it for you. Yes, this is capacitor. Which motor need capacitor? Yes, it is one-phase AC motor that need a capacitor to start. Move to the one-phase AC motor name tag. You can see in here, we have several information. Start from the output power, 0.5 horsepower or in kilowatt unit. And then you have how many poles in this AC motor, the frequency, the voltage, the ampere, and also the RPM or the rotational speed. Based on the RPM, you know that this is an AC induction motor, right? Yeah, that's right. That's why when you open this, the motor name tag also show you one-phase induction motor. How one-phase AC motor works? In our one-phase motor, it has 3 cables. 2 cables represent main winding, meanwhile the last cable represents auxiliary winding. Actually, each winding should have 2 cables, right? to represent each end of the winding. But why does auxiliary winding only has one cable? Because one end of the auxiliary winding is already connected to the main winding as shown in the module. Then, how to operate the one-phase AC motor? It's quite easy. We have to connect the main winding with live terminal and also neutral terminal. After that, we can connect auxiliary winding with live or neutral terminal. It's okay, but it will distinguish the rotational direction of the motor. Let's look at the diagram. Cable 1 and cable 2 are main winding. Meanwhile, cable 6 is auxiliary winding. We connect cable 1 with live terminal and cable 2 with neutral terminal. And for example, I connect auxiliary winding with live terminal. Thus, the current will flow from live to neutral terminal and motor will rotate counterclockwise. You see, from live terminal to neutral terminal, and also auxiliary winding is connected to live terminal. That's why current will also flow from here to the neutral terminal. That's why the motor will rotate counterclockwise. After that, how if we connect the auxiliary winding with neutral terminal? Cable 1 to live terminal and cable 2 to neutral terminal. You see, the current will flow from live terminal to neutral terminal and also to cable 6 because cable 6 is connected to neutral terminal. That's why the motor will rotate clockwise. That's how one-phase AC motor works. Look at three-phase AC motor name tag. Here, we can see several information. The pole of the motor, the output power of the motor in horsepower unit and also watt unit, the frequency, the RPM, the voltage, and also current. But in here, you can see Y configuration symbol and also delta configuration symbol. But we don't discuss Y and delta configuration in module 3 because you haven't learned it in the lecture. That's why in module 3, we directly use Y configuration. So you can see the voltage and also the current of the Y configuration. How three-phase AC motor works? In three-phase AC motor, we have 3 coils, U, V, and W. Therefore, we should have 6 cables to represent the end of each winding. But in here, we only have 3 cables to represent each winding. Why? Because we have already connected the other cable ends to create Y configuration. Maybe you still don't understand it right now, but it's okay because we will discuss this again in module 4. To operate the three-phase AC motor, it's easier than one-phase AC motor because we just need to connect each coil to a different voltage line. For example, we call this red, black, and brown cable as U, V, and W coil. Then we just need to connect red cable or U coil with R voltage line, black cable or V coil with S voltage line, and finally brown cable or W coil with T voltage line. That's it. If you want to change the connection, for example, you want to connect red cable with S voltage line or T voltage line, it's okay. It doesn't matter. The important thing is each coil get a different voltage line. Let's start the practicum. We start the practicum by measuring one-phase and three-phase grid voltage. First, one-phase line to neutral. It shows 232 volt. Move to three-phase grid voltage. We call this brown, red, and black cable as R, S, and T voltage line. That's why first we want to measure line to line, R to S. R to S, line to line, about 400 volt. And then S to T. S to T line, it shows 395. And finally, R to T, 402. And then we also need to measure line to neutral for three-phase grid voltage. R to neutral, 232. And then S to neutral, 229 volt. And then T to neutral, 230 volt. Compare the measurement data with the theoretical value. The theoretical value that you have already learned in the lecture. Is there any difference? Give your analysis. Control circuit. We will create three types of control circuit. Push button, latching or push button S switch, and switch. Basically, the purpose of control circuit is to turn the contactor on and off. The on and off condition of contactor will be determined by the coil. That's why we will connect the control circuit with coil contactor. After we finish with control circuit, we will connect the contactor with the load. In this module, we have two types of load, which is one-phase and three-phase AC motor. If we can control the contactor, then we can also control the AC motor. That's the big picture how we turn the AC motor on and off. Push button. Push button is the simplest control circuit. First, we connect control circuit breaker with push button normally open leg. As you can see in this label, normally open leg of the push button is leg number 1 and leg number 2. That's why from control circuit breaker, I connect it to leg number 1. After that, I connect push button leg number 2 to coil contactor. This is coil contactor, the black one in here, and the terminal of coil contactor is in here. It is correct, right? In order to turn the contactor on and off, it depends on the coil. If coil is energized, then the contactor turns on. Last step, we have to make closed circuit. Then, we have to connect the coil contactor to neutral terminal. This is neutral terminal. Connect it to the coil contactor. Let's try it. Turn on this control circuit breaker and you see when I press this button, the contactor is turned on. You can see from the black component in here, is the black component is going down. It means the contactor is turned on. But when I release the button, the contactor is changed to off condition again. When I press, it's on, and when I release, it's off. That's the push button control circuit. Push button S switch or latching control circuit. From the previous control circuit, which is push button, we have to always push the button in order to turn on the contactor. Now, imagine if you want to operate the motor for 24 hours, but you have to always push the button, you will be tired, right? That's why we will learn the latching control circuit. We will utilize push button component, but it will act like switch. Look to the circuit. From control circuit breaker to normally closed leg number 4. Then leg number 3 is connected to leg number 2. Because as you see in this label, leg number 3 and leg number 4 is connected normally closed. Leg number 1 and number 2 is connected but normally open. But in for leg number 2 and number 3 is not connected. That's why we have to connect it with a cable. And then leg number 1 of push button is connected to coil contactor in here. And then the coil contactor is connected to neutral terminal. To complete latching circuit, we have to utilize terminal 13 and also 14 on the contactor. Remember, at the beginning of the video, I have already introduced you to terminal 13 and 14 for low control circuit or low current circuit. Therefore, from leg number 2 of push button is connects to terminal 13 and terminal 14 is connected back to coil contactor. You can see this one is terminal 13 and on the other hand is terminal 14 connected back to the coil contactor. Let's try it. When I push the on button on the push button, the contactor is on. But when I release, you see, the contactor is still on condition. It's different from the previous, right? To turn the contactor off, we should push the off button like this. You see, it's off right now. Turn on, turn off. Let's try to understand how it works. First, for normal condition, don't pay attention at terminal 13 and also terminal 14. For normal condition, the current will flow from control circuit breaker to leg number 4, leg number 3, leg number 2, and leg number 1. And it will flow to the coil contactor. From coil contactor, it come back to neutral terminal. That's why when I push the on button, the closed circuit will be formed. That's why the current can flow into the circuit. But why when I release the on button, the contactor is still on? Then we have to pay attention at terminal 13 and terminal 14. You see, when I release the on button, then the closed circuit is not formed. But the current will flow through the terminal 13 and terminal 14. Take a look over here. From the control circuit breaker to leg number 4, leg number 3, leg number 2, but it doesn't go to leg number 1 because I don't press the on button in here. That's why leg number 2 and leg number 1 is not a closed circuit. That's why the current will flow to terminal 13, terminal 14, and come back to the coil contactor. Remember, at the first, when I push the on button, the contactor is on, which means terminal 13 is connected to terminal 14. That's why when I release, terminal 13 is still connected to terminal 14 because the coil contactor is still get energized. That's why when I release the on button, the current will flow to terminal 13 and terminal 14 and always flows because closed circuit is formed. But when I want to turn off the contactor, we should press the off button in here. Because when I press the off button, the closed circuit is not formed anymore. Yeah, you see? When I press the off button, the contactor is directly turned off. Switch control circuit. Normally, switch control circuit is used when you want to control two contactors. Look at here. From control circuit breaker to the middle leg of the switch. Right leg of the switch connected to coil contactor 1. Meanwhile, left leg of the switch is connected to coil contactor number 2 in here. To complete the circuit, you also have to connect the coil contactor with neutral terminal. As you can see in here, the blue cable of coil contactor is connected to neutral terminal. And the same in here. Blue cable coil contactor connected to blue cable contactor in here, and finally it reach neutral terminal. Let's try. Middle position means off position of the switch. To the left, lever in the left position, which means middle leg is connected to the right leg. That's why coil contactor 1 is energized, which means contactor 1 is on. I hope you can see in here, the black component in here is going down. Off, on, off, and on. Lever in left position. Right now, try to the right position. Lever to the right, which means middle leg of the switch is connected to the left leg of the switch, which means coil contactor 2 is energized and make the contactor in on condition. Off, on, off, and on. That's why when you use switch control circuit, you can directly control two contactors. After control circuit, we will learn the load circuit. For the first load circuit, we will utilize one-phase AC induction motor. And for the control circuit, we will use push button control circuit. But right now, we focus on the load circuit. Take a look on the contactor over here. This side of the contactor, I have already connected with the one-phase AC motor. And as you can see in here, red and blue cable is to terminal 2 and terminal 4. Both of them are main windings. Meanwhile, auxiliary winding is connected to terminal 6. If the contactor is on, then terminal 2 and terminal 1 is connected. Terminal 4 and terminal 3 is connected. And the same as terminal 6 and terminal 5 is connected. From the previous explanation, I have already explained to you that main winding should be connect to live and neutral terminal. That's why red cable from main winding, it will get live terminal. Blue cable from main winding, it will get neutral terminal. And for auxiliary winding, it's up to you. If you want to connect it with live terminal or neutral terminal. But for this example, I connect auxiliary winding with live terminal. This is our load circuit. As you can see in here, the live terminal or the live line, I connect it with load circuit breaker. Load circuit breaker. From load circuit breaker to terminal 1 of the contactor, at its jumper to the terminal 5, because terminal 5 also need live terminal to supply auxiliary winding. And for terminal 3 or blue cable of main winding, it need neutral, but I connect it with this neutral or neutral from coil, and finally to the neutral terminal of our grid power. It's the same. Let's try it. Turn on the control circuit breaker and also turn on the load circuit breaker. After that, push the on button. The AC motor is running. Meanwhile, if I release, the AC motor is stopped. Push and release. That's how we control the AC motor. Second load circuit. In this circuit, we want to reverse the rotational direction of one-phase AC motor. Therefore, we will utilize two contactors. And we have to use switch control circuit. For example, contactor 1 for counterclockwise rotational direction. Meanwhile, contactor 2 for clockwise rotational direction. Let's see the circuit. From the switch control circuit, you see right legs of the switch connected to contactor 1. Meanwhile, left leg of the switch is connected to contactor 2. Therefore, as we have already proved it before, if the lever position is to the left, then contactor 1 is on, because middle leg and right leg of the switch is connected. Meanwhile, if the lever position is to the right, then middle leg and left leg is connected. That's why contactor 2 is on. Let's see the load circuit. The load circuit in contactor 1 is the same as previous. You can see the sequence. In here, I have already connect the main winding from the AC motor and also auxiliary winding. Red cable, blue cable of main winding, and auxiliary winding. Or if you refer to the module, then this is cable 1, cable 2, and cable 6. And as you can see in this side, the main winding or the red cable of main winding gets live terminal. You see from here, here, and here. Load circuit breaker, which means red cable of main winding gets live terminal. And then blue cable of main winding gets neutral terminal or neutral. And auxiliary winding gets live terminal because it gets jumper from red cable of main winding. And then for contactor 2, just see the sequence. The sequence in here is red cable main winding, blue cable main winding, and auxiliary winding. And you see in here is the same. Main winding red cable, main winding blue cable, and then auxiliary winding. And as you can see in here, the main winding is the same. Red cable gets live terminal, blue cable gets neutral, but pay attention in here. Auxiliary winding is different from contactor 1. In here, contactor 1 is live. Meanwhile, in here, auxiliary winding gets neutral. That's the key, or that's the important thing to reverse the rotational direction of one-phase AC motor. Let's try it. Contactor 1, this is counterclockwise. Wait, you will see it is counterclockwise. Yeah, you see, counterclockwise. Lever left position and contactor 1 is on, counterclockwise. Meanwhile, in here, right position, contactor 2 on, and the AC motor is clockwise. That's how we reverse the rotational direction of one-phase AC motor. Third load circuit, we will utilize three-phase AC induction motor and we will use push button control circuit. Let's see the load circuit. Actually, it's quite simple, as I have already explained it before. Three-phase AC motor will have three coils, U, V, and W. And each coil should get different voltage line. That's why from the three-phase circuit breaker, you see R, S, and T voltage line directly connect to the contactor in here. Terminal 1, terminal 3, and terminal 5. That's why when the contactor is turned on, then each coil will get different voltage line. That's how we run the three-phase AC motor. Let's try. When I push the on button, the three-phase AC motor is running. And I release, the three-phase AC motor is stopped. That's how we operate three-phase AC motor. Last load circuit. In this circuit, we want to reverse the rotational direction of three-phase AC induction motor. Therefore, we will utilize two contactors and also switch control circuit. Let's see the circuit. To reverse the rotational direction of three-phase AC motor, then you have to change the connection between coils and voltage line. For example, clockwise rotational direction, we connect the U, V, and W coils with R, S, and T voltage line respectively. Then, for counterclockwise rotational direction, we should change two connection and one connection remains the same. The connection between U coil and R voltage line are still the same, but we connect V coil with T voltage line and W coil with S voltage line. That's what we do in here. Take a look over here. Three-phase AC motor has three coils, U, V, and W. Brown, red, and black represents U, V, and W coil. Meanwhile, in here, from the three-phase circuit breaker, you also see brown, red, and black cable. But in here, it represents R, S, and T voltage line because it's from electric power grid. In the first conductor, you see it's the same, brown, red, and black, which means R, S, and T voltage line. That's why U, V, and W coil get R, S, and T voltage line respectively. That's why after that, when you want to reverse the rotational direction, you have to change two connection and one connection remain the same. Take a look over here. It becomes brown, black, and red, which means R, T, and S voltage line. Remember in here, brown, red, and black means R, S, and T voltage line. But in here, you can see the sequence is different. R, T, and S voltage line. Meanwhile, at the other side of the conductor, coils from three-phase AC motor are the same. Brown, red, and black. U, V, and W. That's why when second conductor is turned on, U coil get R voltage line. V coil get T voltage line. It's not S voltage line anymore. After that, W voltage line connected with S voltage line. Right now, we change the connection between V and W coils with T and S voltage line. That's how we reverse the rotational direction of three-phase AC induction motor. In short, we have to change two connections, but one connection is still the same. Let's try it. Switch lever, the lever of the switch is in left position. That's why first conductor is turned on. The motor is already running, but we cannot see the rotational direction yet. That's why we have to turn it off, and we can see the rotational direction is clockwise. And for the second condition, lever of the switch is into the right. Second contactor turn on, and we have to stop it first to see the rotational direction of the three-phase AC motor. And you see, it counterclockwise. So it's complete. We are succeed to reverse the rotational direction of three-phase AC induction motor.